That means I like him.
I guess.
Yeah. Is he still, he's on the list for the fire department still?
They just called him again
make everything
and
special
told him to
just
come in
everything.
for another agility test, because it's been a year, so
Yeah,
maybe,
that's great.
yeah. If not, you know, he's good with
Yeah, I wrote a letter for him.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the, what month are we in? November Planning Board meeting. If everyone could rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. To be led by Ms. Spada.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, just as a matter of housekeeping tonight, being that Commissioner Alton, or Chairperson Alton, is absent, would any member of the board like to make a motion to nominate a... Oh, I'm so sorry. We have to do attendance first.
Board Member Clancy?
Present.
Board Member Gauto?
Present.
Board Member Lucas? Board Member Martinson?
Present.
Board Member Patton?
Present.
Board Member Spada?
Present.
Chairperson Alton. Board Members Lucas and Alton are absent. Let the record indicate the presence of Deputy Corporation Counsel Joseph Lupo.
Like I was saying, sorry, would anyone like to make a motion nominating any other member to be the acting chairperson for tonight's meeting?
Sure. I'll nominate Jason.
I second.
Who will second?
I second, yeah.
Okay. Okay, voting. Board Member Clancy?
Yes.
Board Member Gauto?
Yes.
Board Member Martinson?
Yes.
Board Member Patton?
Yes.
Board Member Spada?
Yes.
Board Member Clancy is the temporary chairperson for this meeting. Resolution of the Planning Board acting in the capacity of the Architectural Review Board for the approval of the issuance of the building permit for 28 Alabama Street.
Is the applicant for Alabama Street here?
I don't think they were coming. I don't think they were
All right.
coming.
No.
Nope. Okay, so what we have here is a new three-story, single-family dwelling located at 28 Alabama Street. Based on the rendering, it's a very pretty home. It's, I wouldn't say that it's in character with the neighborhood, but then again, Long Beach is so diverse, it's not a cookie-cutter community.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I like the greenery around the home and, you know, just a different approach to, I guess, the style.
And in looking at, you know, some of the comps in the area, you know, again, even with respect to the size of the home, it is consistent. There are, you know, the size of the homes on the block are, some are larger, some are smaller, some are 3 stories, some are 2, so it doesn't stick out. Does anybody have any objections to the design?
No objections, but is that grass on the one side of the house?
Looks like it. Doesn't show it on the on this drawing if it's grass. It just says side yard, but the image shows grass and plantings.
It does, it does. So that's perspective rendering.
Question is, you know, obviously, you know, all the water goes into the street, but these streets have a tendency to take on a lot of water, so.
So do you have a recommendation or a condition?
Recommendation is just, I guess, if the other houses are kind of set up the same where the water is running down into the street, I don't see a problem with it, but just, you know, I guess a recommendation would be some kind of drainage. If they keep that grass area there, I think that would probably be the best.
Okay. So would anyone like to make a motion with or without a condition? If it is a condition, just specify, for example, that the side yard, based on the rendering, which in looking at the rendering, it would be to the right of the home, that it would be maintained as, actually on either side of the home, that it would be maintained as grass or some permeable, either natural materials.
Does anyone make a motion with that condition?
I'll make a motion to approve with condition.
Who's second?
I'll second.
Resolution of the Planning Board acting in the capacity of the Architectural Review Board, the approval of the issuance of the building permit for 28 Alabama Street. Board Member Gaucho had made a motion to approve with conditions. Board Member Patton had seconded the motion. Board Member Gaucho?
Approve.
Board Member Martinson?
Approved.
Board Member Patton?
Approved.
Board Member Spada?
Approved.
Chairperson Clancy.
Approved.
This application was approved with the conditions stated on the record. Case number PB 1001, application of the Cody Corporation of 170 East 73rd Street, New York, New York, for a subdivision of the 114 by 90 parcel into two 42.5 by 57 parcels and two 47.5 by 57 parcels at 741 East Broadway, Long Beach, New York, also known as Section 59, Block 194, Lots 23, 24, 47, and 48 on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map.
Good evening. Just please place your name and address on the record, please.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Chairman, Council, members of the board. For the applicant, Thomas McKevitt, Sod Ward, Braff, Coscignano, 333 Earl Ovington Boulevard, Uniondale, New York, 11553. Before I begin, I do have several exhibits for the board to consider. One is actually a number of photographs, which I took several weeks of the subject property and the surrounding properties. Another is the basic plot plan on what we're proposing today. And the other is actually a proposed plot plan on what possibly the development will be at the site. That's what we got at this point. Actually, just need one copy of this. Yep, perfect. Yeah, that's the third one, yes. So the first one are the photographs. There are 5 photographs I took approximately 7 or 8 weeks ago. They were taken by myself, so they are fair and accurate representations of the depiction at that time. And essentially, the first 2 photographs are pictures of the lot, and then the other photographs are the streets, one, of course, on Wilson, the other looking up the street on Coolidge, and the other is the part of East Broadway in the south, which shows the apartment buildings which are located there. And again, the other exhibit is essentially the plot plan which we're proposing, asking for the board's approval at this time. And the other, again, was proposed how we may have the layouts of the house in this instance. As indicated before, this is located on East Broadway, bounded on the west by Wilson Avenue, on the east by Coolidge Avenue. Currently, it's comprised of 4 individual tax lots, which is held by one property, and it is Section 59, Block 194, lots 23, 24, 47, and 48 on the land and tax map of Nassau County. It does comprise a total of 10,460 square feet. There was once a residence on the property. According to the assessment cards in 1938, there was a house of undetermined age at that point. There was some significant remodeling in 1967. Eventually, due to the condition of the house, it was eventually demolished by the owners. For a period of time, the city of Long Beach was using this as a municipal parking lot for several years. At the end of 2020, the city of Long Beach determined no longer to use it as a municipal parking lot. So it has been a vacant lot for the last 5 years, this entire time. There are significant taxes. There are approximately, I would say, about $25,000, $26,000 a year in taxes. And it's come to the point where there will be some development on this property. The question is, what kind of development is going to be? Now, looking at the area of the character, we're trying to develop something which will fit in with the character of Long Beach. So we're certainly not going to propose, a 7-story office, a 7-story apartment building similar to what's on East Broadway between Cleveland and Maple. As of right, we could probably build a McMansion. We don't think that goes with the area. There's one McMansion which essentially has been constructed on Wilson, north of the property. Again, we just don't think that fits in the area character. Again, we could try using a commercial parking lot. Again, this is essentially a residential area. And when you look at the filed map from 1925, and you look up and down the block, And when we look at these tax lots, I think it was always contemplated there'd be 4 homes in these lots. That's how it was laid out. For whatever reason, there's only 1 on these for a number of years, but I think that is in conformity with the development. So, and when my clients were originally thinking about what to build, originally the thought was, well, maybe we could build two-family residences to make something a little bit, upgrade at that point. And the more I thought of it is we thought it'd be better to have individual units owned by families rather than maybe one owned by someone or maybe someone rented. Or if you're going to build a 2-family, probably both of them would be rented. And I think we all agree we want people essentially to plant their roots in Long Beach, be here forever, and have an investment. And again, certainly, look, we know how prices are these days and everything is pricey, but again, a McMansion would be very, very expensive. This would be more in line. People will go and live in the area. So that's what we're really looking to do, is build 4 single-family units. Very similar to when you look at Broadway between Atlantic and Pacific. That's exactly the scheme they have there. When you look in the area, that's something we're looking to do as well. So again, the lots which we're proposing is 2 northern lots, which will be 2,707.5 feet each. The dimensions will be 47.5 feet, the width being 57 feet. And the 2 southern lots will be 2,422.5 feet, dimensions being 42.5 by 57 feet as well. And again, when you look at the proposed map, we're looking at right now 2 semi-detached units to when 2 family, one family in one lot, 1 family in the other, and essentially they'd have a common borderline at the properties at that point. Again, we're not married to that proposal. This is just a proposal at this time, something we're contemplating for the development. Knowing that parking is very important to the community, and there's never enough parking in Long Beach, the way we're seeking to do it is that for the northern houses on Wilson Avenue and Coolidge Avenue, again, when you look at what we proposed, the curb cuts would be located, again, 1 foot curb cut on Wilson, 21-foot curb cut in Coolidge. For the southern houses, we proposed putting the curb cut on East Broadway for the exact reason there's no on-street parking allowed on East Broadway. So by putting those curb cuts there, we're not taking any parking. So essentially, by doing this development, we would be taking away 1 on-street parking, 1 Wilson, 1 Coolidge. But this proposal will have 2-car garages for each of the houses, as well as space in the driveway. So we're certainly contemplating that any parking will be on the property of these properties, not creating anything inconvenient to the area. And again, I'm sure some people have a number of adult children, have been using the side, and we don't certainly want to go and infringe on that any way whatsoever, which is why we're looking to go and have only the single curb cut in Wilson and the other on Coolidge. We have a local architect, James Joyce, who's here to go answer any other questions that you might have as well. If approved, we'll be looking to use local construction, local workers. Really, my client looks at this as an investment in Long Beach. And just to remind, what comes out of this board is you're not approving the building these houses. If approved by this board, all you're doing is allowing the 4 lots, because even though they're 4 separate tax lots, once they're owned by 1 owner, essentially they've been merged. So we're trying to go and split them back to what maybe the original intent was at that point. But if approved by this board, we still have to go to the Board of Zoning Appeals for variances, for our side yard variances. And then after that, we would come back to you as the Architectural Review Board. So this is really the first step in a 3-step process. And we're just trying to look and move on along. Again, we know neighbors may have different issues with it. And again, we're not married to any one plan at this point, but we're just looking to go and hopefully get the subdivision done, move on to the zoning board, continue the dialogue process, and move with some reasonable development on this property.
Public first, or?
No, us first.
Okay, just some questions on the proposed layout.
Sure.
The units on Broadway, it looks, there's a note that says 3-story semi-attached. Are those only for those Broadway units, or will all of them be 3-story?
It's all, but again, I would consider what is called the FEMA 3-story,
Okay.
which is obviously the first story is the unimproved, and the 2 stories on top of that. So
Okay.
again, I do most of my work in the town of Hempstead, and we call them FEMA 3 stories, but that's what it is. And Mr. Joyce, that's correct. It will be FEMA 3 stories, and they'll be for both the 2 northern lots and the 2 southern lots.
Okay, and then as you're saying, the original intention, you're saying that these 4 lots, is that the lot size of the surrounding homes? Do they all have similar lot sizes, or is it any smaller?
They are all the same, it's just the 2 southern lots were slightly bigger. So when you look at the two newer lots, and what we're doing is, we're slightly altering the original one to make the lots a little more evened out, because originally you had a 57 by 40 and a 57 by 50, so we're actually trying to go and make one of the lots in the southern a little bit larger, and the ones a little bit smaller to have more even-sized properties. But the original ones, I think around the rest of the block, were the 57 by 40s.
Okay. Does anyone else from the board have any
Yeah, I was
questions?
just, I've been by this numerous places, I've been talking to some of the community, and they're well aware that this has been proposed and this is happening, but the people on the south side of East Broad, do they park in this lot? Like, is there an arrangement that the condos across the street have been parking in there during the summers and stuff, or is that not?
This lot's completely fenced off for a long time. No one's using it. The only ones using right now is some residents have put in some basketball hoops up there,
Yeah, okay.
which we've allowed them to be as good neighbors. I've had some talk to the client regarding it, but this lot has been unutilized for several years.
Okay.
No one's using it.
19 years? Okay.
I have a question. Can you please explain again, what made you decide to plan the 4 homes instead of 2 and the 4 semi-attached ones? I don't know if the semi-attached houses go with the neighborhood.
Mhm.
Why you decided to make 4 instead of just 2 detached homes?
Well, again, the original thought was to have two families, which would be obviously one large unit. And the more we thought of it, we didn't think that was the best design of it. When we looked at the design of it, in order to go and make the house as aesthetically as possible, we went towards that. Again, I'll defer to Mr. Joyce, the architect, as to why he made those choices. But again, we just felt that it's a more better looking home, more aesthetically pleasing home. But I'll let Mr. Joyce answer some of the questions on that.
Excuse me, everybody's going to get a chance to speak? Thank you.
James Joyce, 162 West Park Avenue, Long Beach, New York. I'm the architect of the property. The reason we kind of lean towards doing the semi-attached is we felt that individual homes, the setbacks would be closer to the property lines, which would encroach closer to the existing neighbors that are currently there. So by doing this, we were able, and attaching them with a center line between the two, we're able to increase that setback to the adjacent property.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Any other questions from the board?
No, I don't know.
Does anyone from the public like to speak in favor?
Would anyone like to, from the public?
Anybody
like to
from the
speak
public
against?
like to speak against? Well, first, does anybody from the public want to speak in favor? No. Okay. Second, does anybody from the public like to speak against? Okay, come
Come
on.
up and you have to give your name and address on the record.
Oh, good. Name and address, please.
Hello, my name is Kathleen Sullivan. I'm a resident of this Barrier Island for 55 years. I recently purchased, not recently, 19 years, I purchased 107 Coolidge, which is 2 doors down from this vacant lot that has been vacant and was then utilized by the city council to have parking. We all got parking stickers and everything like that. I can tell you, honestly, because of this monstrosity of the 3 hammerstands, things that were built, the parking has been atrocious. I work in Wall Street, so I come home at like 6, 7. I can't find parking. I'm parking across Parkside. So if you do this, parking will totally be so bad for the residents that we are there on the President Streets. I own a 2-family house, and basically that parking lot, yes, I do believe it should be used for something, but not to overdevelop. Right now, it's used as a playground, right? So the kids up and down the street, I wish Marissa was here, they all go, they play basketball, they set up a basketball tent after the city left it, because the city had that as parking. Whatever they're trying to do, overdevelopment is not the answer. To have a corporation make more money so that they can, look what they did at the bottom of Coolidge, right? There was a 3-lot, which is James Joyce. You were the architect of that. But they weren't allowed to subdivide that. Why weren't you allowed to subdivide that, Mr. James Joyce? You built a monstrosity, which you still haven't finished developing in 3 years since you tore it down. You bought it for $900,000, the property owners, and
Ma'am,
you're
if you'd like to
still
ask
building.
if you'd like to ask the board
No,
questions,
and it's
please
still,
direct it at the
on
board.
Coolidge Avenue, he still has not finished his architecture, right? It's disgusting. So what he's going to try to propose is that he's going to aggravate the actual homeowners. That Kelly Snow, who is a resident of her family heritage for like, I don't know, 100 years. I'm here 50 years, more, my Sullivan family. I do not understand why you're not even, I never got notification. I just got a phone call 15 minutes ago to show up. You are not notifying anybody. You put a little notice on the fence. We did not know this was going on. So communication of how you're going to hurt neighbors on your overdevelopment was not notified.
Just so you know-
I'm 2
okay.
doors down.
Okay.
She's 3 doors down. Where was my, in the mailbox, that this was going to happen? We weren't, and now I'm here like the last 7 seconds to defend my block and to say, hey, you're going to destroy my parking again?
You know that they're not here to seek to build anything right now tonight?
Okay, so I want to ask you a question. Why wasn't I notified? I had to get a freaking text from Kelly Snow, whose family has been here forever.
Looking into it right now. So the way that the code reads is that, and you could be as angry with me as you want, I'm just letting you know what it is. I mean, it is what it is. When you take the property that has the application, you do a 150-foot circle around.
I'm
perimeter.
150 foot.
Okay,
Definitely.
so we
I'm-
have-
I'm 107 Coolidge.
Okay, so I don't know why you didn't receive it, but you're on our list. You did, a mailing was sent to
I'm
you.
Kathleen Sullivan, 107 Coolidge.
I'm Joe
I'm
Lupo.
150
I'm Joe
foot.
Lupo, nice to
Definitely.
meet you. I'm Joe Lupo, nice to meet you.
Thank you.
So, Ms. Sullivan, a notice was mailed to you. Why you
No,
didn't
it was
receive?
not.
Okay, Ms. Sullivan. I'm not going to argue with you, but just so you know, the purpose of this tonight is to subdivide land. As Mr. McKevitt said, with respect, they're not married to any plan as far as how the building's going to go. And even with that, once they submit their plans to the building department for whatever it is that
I would like to be notified of what's going on.
you
in
will
the
be
plan.
notified again, like you were this time.
I
And
was
then-
not.
Okay.
And so I'm
Regardless.
here to tell you I was not.
Okay, gotcha.
Other
with-
than Kelly Snow texting
Okay.
me, get my ass down.
All right, I'm going to be quiet because apparently you're going to talk for all of us.
No, so I want to know.
Wow, what? Wow, what? Did I say anything wrong? I'm being spoken over and being admonished. So, wow, what? Who has something? If anybody else would like to speak, by all means, everybody will get an opportunity to. But at the end of the day, all I'm trying to explain is that nothing is being built yet. And just like Mr. McKevitt said, before any building goes up, everything will have to come to this board, possibly for site plan review. It also has to go to the zoning board for variances. This is strictly,
Good.
this proceeding is strictly to just cut the land in 4 parts.
And-
That's all we're hearing right now.
And Joe,
You don't want that, right?
can we just add one thing, because this might be new for everyone, since the planning board is a brand-new board for Long Beach, and we've never existed before, so it might be helpful for everyone here to know what we're here to do. We're not here to say, yes, you're going to be able to develop. We're not here to say anything other than, should they be allowed to have this subdivision. That's all this is about tonight, nothing about the development, and that's what the planning board's here for.
I
It's one
understand.
step.
Okay, how you doing, council? My name is Chris, last name Kuzo. I live at 106 Wilson with Kelly. Kuzo, C-U-Z-Z-O. C-U-Z-Z-O. Okay, I've been on Wilson Avenue 15 years. It's a real quiet block, a lot of old people on my end of the block. I'm a disabled vet. I don't sleep well, and I'm like not looking forward to 8 o'clock beep, beep, construction for 2-3 years. 4 lots, that's really squeezing it. okay? You know, can we see the pictures that they're proposing? Because like, we just like, everybody's antennas went up here because we didn't see it. And I have, like, she was,
It's literally just a plot of land
okay.
with
'Cause,
divided into 4.
we got a pretty good block here, and all the neighbors, like everybody, because like, you know, we're telling everybody that we got the notice, and a lot of other people on the block didn't, like, kind of along, I'm not gonna bitch about that, but we got it. It was postponed 2 months ago, we got it, and every time somebody sees me, I'm walking their dog or whatever, because I'm always out in the yard with the dog, everybody stops, what's going on with that? I was like, I don't know, we're going Thursday. So I'd like to, you know, see, oh, this is just a picture of the lot, but as far as like proposed,
You
you
wanna
know,
see the plot
you're
plan?
saying 2 and 3 story buildings, you know,
No, so-
mostly 1 story, and then, you know, some people lifted.
So
if you're
FEMA
gonna-
compliant homes, right, since
Yeah.
Sandy, FEMA compliant homes, the reason why I believe Mr. McKevitt called it the town of Hempstead 3-story is because there's no, the first floor is non-habitable space. They call it freeboard. It has to be
Okay. I'll give
elevated.
it back to you in a second here.
It has to be elevated a certain height for flooding and safety reasons, right, per FEMA, right? So the first, you know, like the first floor, that's where like the garage goes, maybe some storage, but you can't have any bedrooms, you can't have any restrooms, you can't
Yeah,
have, you know, nothing like that.
Yeah, I understand.
So
So that's not
technically,
considered a floor, but it
yeah.
is.
It-
So
it-
2
it is a floor,
stories
yes.
above of living. Good.
Gotcha.
Yep,
Gotcha.
I understand.
Okay.
All right. I thought there would be like more of a graphic than just a
So at this point.
blueprint.
Okay.
Okay, but ideally, 4 lots, 4 houses, or 2-family, that's really pushing it for this area. You know, Broadway, they were saying they wasn't gonna put the curb cut good, because, you know, school buses and traffic, and I don't know how many times with that other house that they're building for 3 years now, that the block was, you know, construction equipment loaded, tractors and whatever digging up, that I had to go around, out of my way. It's not far, but you know, if you got to pee really bad, or you're coming home from work and you're tired, and you just, you know, it's an inconvenience. So we see 4 lots, houses going up. Not 4's pushing it. 1, and like the other thing, you know, saying, oh, with the other houses in that, along the end, it seems like those corner properties, because I walk my dog all up and down there, so I see the house. Those corner lots are usually bigger properties with the house, you know, the older house on it. So, you know, say, oh, it's in character with the neighborhood. No. Let me get this back to you here. It doesn't, and this one here as well. But, you know, I got a whole laundry list here of gripes. You know, I don't want to take up everybody's time.
Just so you know.
I'm
if
going to
you ha-
pass it. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Is there- The laundry list that you have, do you have it in writing?
Sure.
What you can do, if you want, if the board doesn't vote tonight, ordinarily, this is the board's first subdivision that it's actually hearing. I'm also the counsel to the zoning board, so I'm a little bit more experienced with these types of proceedings.
Okay.
So tonight, if the board doesn't vote on it, and oftentimes they will not, I can't speak for them, we would hold the hearing open for voting until the next council meeting, meaning that no decision is made, but the hearing is still held open. So at that time, if anybody, members of the public that are for or against the project, want to submit any evidence into the record, for your words, like the laundry list of gripes, if you want to submit your opposition, and then the reason why I'm opposed to it is because of X, Y, Z, and you list it out and send an email, that will actually become a part of the record, and the board will be able to consider that prior to voting at the next meeting.
Okay, and then also the gentleman that said that he took pictures, I had a complaint of numerous neighbors. There was a, you know, unknown guy taking pictures in my house, and I kind of had a feeling that's what it was for, but we have a very tight-knit block that if you don't belong there, or if a car's parked there for more than 3 days, we know it's not, you know, whatever.
Listen, I understand, and listen, if I looked out my bay window in front of my house and saw somebody taking pictures of it, I would be curious as well, but it is totally legal to do that.
No, I understand,
You know?
but all right. I don't want to take up any more time. I don't feel 4 lots is conducive for the neighborhood. I'll leave it at that.
Thank
I'll
you so
just-
much.
Thank you.
And just one more thing, that they said if you don't vote, would this come back next month? Because a lot of people had to work that wanted to come down and speak.
So just so you know, so with respect to the actual hearing and the Q&A, that'll be done, that's done now. If it's not voted on tonight, then what the board does is give the opportunity for people such as yourself, to, like I said, to submit letters in support or oppose it, and then consider those. And then when we come back next month, at the very beginning of the meeting, they just vote. It's not a hearing, there's no presentation, it's just their decision on ultimately what they come to.
Okay, thank you. Good evening.
And just so you know,
Thank you.
the December planning board meeting had to be postponed, so it will be January 8th. If the board doesn't vote on it tonight, it would be voted on most likely January 8th.
And would be
So, yes.
notified via mail.
There's no further notification. The notifications were sent for the hearing, but then you would just check in whenever the next meeting is. But we know now there's not a December planning board meeting.
And it's still
January
under the
8th.
planning board, not zoning.
Right.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Good evening.
Thank you.
It's coming up.
And Karen Fitzpatrick, I'm at 104 Wilson Avenue, I'm right next door to the lot, and
Can you just speak a little further into the mic, please? Thank you. And just give your name again.
Karen Fitzpatrick, I'm at 104 Wilson Avenue, my house is right next door to the lot. So when we bought the house in 1986, the person that owned the house said that the house was not, he bought that house from Massapequa for his wife, and it was supposed to be grandfathered in that it wasn't going to be used for anything else but other than a house and his tomato garden. I'm not sure what happened over the years, and it became a parking lot. Now it's just a lot where kids play in, people train their dogs, you know, people are teaching their kids how to ride bicycles. Like, it's used for other things. My personal opinion is we don't need any more properties, and we have no parking to begin with on Wilson Avenue in the summertime. There's no spots. You know, all the spots are taken, the beach is right across the street, we live across the street from the beach. Pacific Beach is across the street from Wilson Avenue. You just go across the street, you walk through the lot, and you're on the beach. There's no parking spots. So I don't know the right terminology to use, but like, really, another house is not necessary. I'm not trying to not have the person, like, make money and stuff. However, like, there's little kids that are growing up in the neighborhood that use that parking lot. And there are people that use that parking lot to do things. So to make 4 houses on a lot that supposedly was grandfathered in, like, you have the house on Taft Avenue, the house in the front, you have the house, they're just one house, it's one house, and then you have in the back, and then you have the property in front of the house. It's like, there's not all that drama. You know, and all I can think about is that this is going to be causing a lot of chaos. You have school buses that go up and down Broadway, the school bus corner is on Taft, No, it's on Taft, because Coolidge is over. I get confused with the streets and stuff, but the school buses pass, and they go this way, and there are a lot of kids that can get hurt. So my concern is, like, it's about the children, right, in the community that need a place to go to, maybe, like, not houses all the time everywhere, and that's all that's being built in Long Beach is houses. And I understand that this is what this is for, but, like, I just personally think that it's not necessary.
I understand what you're saying, but I just want you to also consider, regardless of whether this board approves or denies the subdivision, the owners of the property can still build on that land, right? And they could still exclude, if they chose, exclude the public, because it is private property. So, I mean, listen, I understand that, you know, especially over the course of 19 years, using the lot, you get accustomed to it, right? And it's nice. I mean, it's nice to have wide open area to let children ride bikes and whatnot. But the city of Long Beach has no mechanism to prevent them from building, right? Okay. So they can do that. The only thing this board is determining at this point in time is whether or not they could cut the land into 4 pieces like it used to be. Right, as far
that I've been in my house, for 40 years. It was never not ever in the lifetime of me living at 104 Wilson Avenue was there 4 properties on that lot.
I'm not saying that there were 4 actual structures, but I thought this
was
actually at one time. This lot was divided into, I don't recall if it was 3 or 4 separate plots, and then the owner of the property back then, even though they used it as one, it was legally 3 or 4. They merged it into one, right? So I'm not saying that they were using it for 4 separate houses. I'm just saying for the area itself. So now, the only determination this board is making when it makes a determination is whether or not it could be subdivided or not.
Okay, because there was only one big house and then a tomato garden. There was no house, it was, and you're saying they took 4 lots of land and made it into one, and then now they want to make it back into 4 again? Like, I don't know. That's all I need to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Kelly Snow, 106 Wilson Avenue. My family has been in the house, or we've owned the house since 1979. I do believe you're right with the 3 subdivisions. I know you guys are voting on splitting it, and there's no guarantee. They're telling us they're gonna put 2 families, 1 family, that continues on. So my question is the process.
Sure.
So, everyone said everything, we're gonna email you our concerns.
Please.
I think that would best. So the email, is that on the website? It would go to the planning board?
No, it's, yeah, the pen, you want to write it down? It's RLYNCH.
CH.
At Long Beach, NY.gov. So Long Beach is still that, but NY, and it's on the website too.
So RLYNCH at longbeachNewYork.gov.
Long Beach, NY.
Long Beach, NY, sorry, .gov. Okay, thank you. So then you guys vote.
So I don't have a vote, just so you know.
Okay, so you guys will eventually vote whether we're gonna subdivide it. Then if you don't vote tonight, it'll be in January.
Yep.
Then it goes to the zoning board.
Well, here, hold on, let me be a little bit more.
Thank you.
Okay. What happens next, whether the property is subdivided or not, if the current owners want to build on that land, at some point what they have to do is they have to submit building plans to the building department seeking a building permit. If whatever plans they submit do not comply with the zoning code 100%, meaning, the space, the setback is the space from the property line, meaning, so if it's not X amount of feet from this property line or that property line, depending upon what they propose, a single-family house requires less off-street parking than, let's say, like a multifamily dwelling unit, right? So everything that they would propose, if any of it doesn't comply with the zoning code, and most of the time developments do not, then they have to go before the zoning board.
And then would
for
we
a
be
variance.
re-notified on that, or no?
For zoning boards, 100%. The zoning board is in addition, depending upon, so let's just say hypothetically speaking that that the subdivision was denied, and now they want to build like a multifamily dwelling unit with 4 families, hypothetically speaking, of course.
Right, no, just like
That-
it's across the street.
Ma'am, we're on the record. Can I ask you to please, if you'd like to come up and speak again, by all means, but please. Multifamily dwelling units also have to be approved by the planning board again, but not under subdivision, under site plan review. So they would need variances, and if the zoning board granted them variances, then depending upon what they're actually proposing to build is, and then it could require site plan review.
Right.
And then, let's just say that it is 4 single-family homes, and they do all that, then it has to come back to this board. Remember when we first sat down?
Yep.
The board acted in
We
its
talked
capacity
on
as the
the
architectural
Yep.
review board. It has to be seen by this board for that as well.
Okay.
So when I say that this is just for the land, there's no guarantee that, they could say, all right, there's no legal basis to deny the subdivision,
Got it.
hypothetically speaking, right? And then all of a sudden they come in with a project that, it's like some monstrous house or built, whatever the case may be, and the zoning board's like, no, absolutely not.
Okay.
So it's not that whatever way this board votes tonight,
No, that's fine.
that it's gonna
Listen,
be like a
it's
hotel.
an eyesore. I mean, yes, I would love it to be a parking lot. It's an eyesore. It's been an eyesore for years. Even when the house was there, it was an eyesore. It was falling apart. But it's overdeveloped in Long Beach. There's no parking. The schools are, filling up. Even a school bus, a curb cut on Broadway, the kids going, it's just not, but again, what you're saying is, it's really, I have a lot. I'm lucky to have a lot, a big side yard.
Sure.
I mean, it's a one-family house with a side yard that's not around, and that would be, really, you could sell it for a lot of money. So, I mean, it doesn't really fit the character. Even 4 lots, like I said, I would love something there, but just not overdevelopment. I mean, we have empty units in Long Beach, we have empty storefronts, we need to bring it back, you know? And the beach traffic, like I said, we're lucky, we have a driveway too, a two-car driveway. People block our driveway, it's ridiculous. So just, you know, doing that more, it's just challenging. And again, I'm not against putting something there, but just not more overdevelopment and not more chaos
So one thing that
in
I
a
will...
quiet area.
I'm sorry, I thought you were
No
done, I'm sorry.
problem.
So one thing that I will recommend to the board, I do not have a vote, I'm legal counsel to the board. One thing that I would like to look into, and information I'd like to provide to you, is I hear a lot about the school buses, right, and the flow of traffic, and that is something that is definitely can and should be considered when deciding whether or not to subdivide land. So my recommendation to the board would be to not vote tonight, so I could speak to our transportation department and actually look into getting that factual information.
Thank you. As a teacher, we just see so many accidents. I mean, I just heard someone
I have 3
was hit by
school-age children.
something in Belmore, so it's
We don't want to
scary.
make anything dangerous for
Right.
anyone.
Okay.
But
Well,
we
thank
also
you.
need to preserve the rights of property owners as well, right? So
Right.
it's a balancing act, so.
You know, I grew up in the house. I grew up with that, I mean, I knew the granddaughter of the people that lived in the house, so it goes back. There's a lot of history. You know, the President Streets are still kind of family-oriented and, you know, beach traffic, you know, you all live in Long Beach. Thank you.
Thank you. Steve?
I said you could. Sorry, guys.
It's okay.
I said you could.
So I've known Kelly since, Kathleen Sullivan, 107 Coolidge. Yeah, I went to the Long Beach Catholic. I was from Point Lookout. And I figured out I bought my property at 107 Coolidge right behind her house. I'm directly behind her. And I didn't get the notification. So what I'm going to try to say to you is that I'm having traffic problems. I work on Wall Street. She's a teacher. I'm sure you get, what time do you get home? Do you find parking? There's not much parking at all. It's ridiculous. So I get home at around 7 p.m. I'm traveling around. So from a congestion problem in the President Streets, in which I tried to articulate before, was that what happened in the middle of Long Beach is now progressing towards the east, is getting progressively worse. And I'm driving around for an hour, then I get upset, then, you know, I don't mind walking, I need my steps. But you're gonna do this, it should be 2 family, it should not be multiple families. I tried, my house is a mother-daughter. I can't even get that passed as a 2-family, right? And it's conducive for that, but I can't. I gotta keep relatives in there. So you're going to change the rules and put some kind of development there? I want to understand the rules, and that's why I'm here. So is it gonna be single families? Is it gonna be multiple families? Because as
Kathleen, that's why we're putting off the vote, you
Okay,
know? So
thank
we're gonna wait, because, you know, you guys are part of our community, and...
For a long time.
Yeah, and so Joe's gonna find out your concerns, and we're gonna find out probably more from the building, and from what they wanna build there, how high they wanna go, all these things, and then you still got the next, you know, you still got the board after this. So it's not, you know, so I think we hear what you're saying.
And I just would like, I got a 10-minute, I got home. I sat with Kenny Apple for another reason, and then I went home, and an hour later, I get a text message from...
Yeah, we're gonna put it off. We're gonna put it off. You guys gonna have your,
All right,
you guys
because
gonna have
I'm
your
not on the
say,
list.
send your emails.
Thank you.
All right.
And Robin knows how close I
Well, please
live,
be
because her
advised that-
daughters
Thank you.
visited my
At
house.
this point now, we're not considering anything being built. We don't know what's being built there. They have not submitted any plans, and technically, what is being built there is actually irrelevant at this time. Just so you know. That's fine.
Steve?
Thank you. I'm Steve Camden, 10 West Beach Street. I grew up, my 5 kids grew up in Wilson Avenue, so I'm very familiar with this. I just have a few questions for clarifications I apologize, I could not hear what was said, so I'm really scared I'm asking the same questions you already answered, so I apologize if that's the case. But just basically, the two lots, as I understand it, are going from Coolidge, which is a one-way street, to the beach, and Wilson Avenue, which is the one-way beach street to the Bayside. The lots now are already 114 by the 90 going down the streets. So therefore, they're just going to divide two lots going a long way to 4 lots, is what they're asking. I believe that's the request?
It's one lot currently, but you're correct in where you believe it's going to be.
It's it's now 1 going to 4, or is it 2 going to 4?
It's one
going to 4.
to
Thank
4.
you. Okay, so 1 going to 4, and the 4 sizes are the normal lots that all up and down the block. Okay, so the curb cuts are on the, let's say, going down Wilson Avenue, going to be 2 curb cuts, and where do the garages exit?
So, on Wilson Avenue, there'll be 1 curb cut.
1 curb cut, and the 2 lots, if they have houses, is this going to be a garage at just one of them, or there'll only be 1 garage facing Wilson Avenue?
There would be 1 garage facing Wilson Avenue.
Okay, so 1 curb cut for 1 garage. And then same thing on Coolidge.
Correct.
Which would be, in.
And
But
then
they-
two more garages would be on Broadway.
And then on Broadway, yeah.
But on that area-
Now, that's a busier street to come in and out of.
And there's no parking, there's no street parking on that
Right,
side of the
right.
street, so that, yes.
Exactly. Okay, so I just wanted to get the layout, so I understood what was being requested, and then it's a 3-step process, I got that part. Okay, let's just get clarification for what goes on. Thank you so much, because a couple of neighbors on the street. My name? Steve Candon, C-A-N-D-O-N. I'm at 10 West Beach. A couple of neighbors on Wilson Avenue asked me to go get information for them, so thank you.
Mr. Camden.
Each house has 2 car garage, right?
Well, we
That's
don't
what
know
they
yet,
said,
because
In
nothing has been.
in this,
Yeah. So, this case, so if nobody wants to make a motion, or does anyone want to make a motion? So then this case would be held open for voting until the next meeting.
yeah.
Case number PB 1002, application of Congregation Temple Israel of 70 East Park Avenue, Long Beach, New York, for a subdivision into 3 parcels of the property located at 70 East Park Avenue, also known as 305 Riverside Boulevard, and 75 East Walnut Street, Long Beach, New York, and also known as Section 59, Block 97, Lot 26, on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map.
Good evening, Kenneth Apple, 30 West Park Avenue, Suite 202, Long Beach. Here tonight on behalf of the applicant, Congregation Temple Israel. First, to clarify this, originally this application was put in to subdivide the 3 properties. We've met, we've discussed, and after you see the presentation, we are only going to be seeking to subdivide the Walnut Street property based on the facts of the case and meeting with my clients. We're here to respectfully request the planning board to...
Mr. Apple, could you just repeat that? I'm sorry, I had a hard time hearing.
Is this on?
Just come closer.
I'm sorry, I just couldn't hear you. You said that it was an application to subdivide...
It was an application to subdivide the 3 properties. I'll go through the properties. We're only looking to do the Walnut Street property. Based on the facts of the case, we believe that's all we're going to need. We're here for the planning board to consider the subdivision application, which I think you'll see not only is a hardship, but a necessity to the applicant, which is a religious institution, to be able to keep it open and function going forward. They're in dire need and actually threatening to be closed based on their financials. I have everything to present to you. I'm going to hand it out in a minute. But for many reasons, this case carries major distinctions, which allow this board not to set any negative precedents going forward. On top of this, I believe the applicant meets all the necessary requirements for the planning board to consider this. To start, I want to give you an overview of the property and the history and to what brings us here tonight. The property has 3 different parcels containing 3 different buildings, all built at 3 separate times. The sanctuary, which is located on Riverside Boulevard, is where they hold their services. It's got a basement which was destroyed by Sandy. It's still not repaired. The school, which is the subject of this subdivision, or the consideration for the subdivision, is on Walnut Street. That was built in 1926. The sanctuary was built in 1923, and the Park Avenue structure, which everybody sees when they drive by with the loading dock right next to the old Topper Realty, that was built in 1966. The temple merged these three properties. They were all separate properties. They were merged in 1977-78, according to the building department records, making them one joint property. They are tax exempt. In 1970, the synagogue was expanded to include the main entrance. Again, Riverside Boulevard is a 500-seat sanctuary. The basement was destroyed by Sandy, like I said. Walnut is a 3-story building. That's the subject of this subdivision. It's a 3-story building. It's got classrooms and things of that nature. It's got structural issues. They cannot afford to repair them. And Park Avenue, which is a large social hall, ballroom with a stage, a commercial kitchen. It's got the loading dock. That's what you see on Park Avenue when you drive by. The board for the temple met back in March to discuss, amongst other things, the financial crunch and an attempt to subdivide and sell one of their parcels. And again, this is not we don't have a buyer in place. This is merely to market that property so that we can sell it. We don't have a contract. We don't know what's going to go there. If anything's going to go there that's not going to comply with code, it's obviously they have to either come to you and or the zoning board as well. All we're looking to do is be able to subdivide that property based on this hardship, just to market it for resale to save the temple financially. Originally, they were considering the Park Avenue building, but if they survive this financial situation, they're planning on hiring a young, vibrant rabbi. They're looking to upgrade that as an event hall for bar mitzvahs, weddings, whatever people may want to host there. So they felt that keeping the Park Avenue property, although probably easier to sell as a subdivision because you have commercial space, you know, it's much more useful to them going forward as a congregation. So they decided the Walnut Street property, the Talmud Torah building, would be the best parcel to sell, and it's the least useful property to the applicant. They don't have a school there now, and they've made every other effort to attempt to avoid this. They've tried to merge with other temples in the area, but they happen to be the only conservative temple in the city, and it's just not possible to merge with another temple. They've gone through every single avenue that they could possibly do to not have to come to do this. The building on Walnut Street that we're talking about is in poor condition. It's got potential structural issues, which they're definitely not in a position to correct financially. I prepared a balance sheet for you. I'll hand it out. You can review it, you know, either tonight or you know, during the month to show their financial hardship. The revenues clearly are overshadowed by the expenses. Last year's revenues, as you'll see, I'll hand this out, were skewed a little bit because there was a bequest made in a will to the temple, which brought the revenues up a little bit, but that's not a consistent revenue, obviously. Somebody left $90,000 to them. Robert, can I hand this out?
You ready? Yep.
So the expenses do exceed the revenues. Like I said, last year's they were a little higher, but because of the bequest and some personal loans that they got, it's one set for everybody, yeah.
Mr. Appel,
Yes.
I think you said it, I'm not sure, just for the clarity of the record. Currently, are these properties, are these lots tax exempt?
They are tax exempt.
So assuming that it's sold to a private buyer and not another religious establishment, it would go back on the tax rolls?
Yes, Counsel. Stole my thunder, but yes.
Okay, I didn't.
Yeah, no,
Sorry
it's
about
okay.
that.
No, it's okay, it's perfect. That's part of it, that's part of the case, is that, like I said, we're just looking to market this property. You know, like I said, we don't have a buyer, so I'm not coming to you and say, hey, we're gonna build a 20-story building, we're gonna make it a 20-unit, or we're gonna do anything. We just wanna sell it, and a potential buyer is either gonna, like I said, have to comply with zoning or come to you, and/or zoning. Again, a major distinction in this subdivision application, which I believe is of the utmost importance for you to consider, and definitely avoid you from setting any kind of negative precedent, is the fact that there is a structure there currently. So it's not like we're selling a vacant lot, profiting, and something's going to go up. There's a structure there. So there's no impact to the neighbors. There's already a building there. There's going to be a building there after we sell it, hopefully, and there's one there now.
Is the building that you want to subdivide the landmark status building?
No, that's the temple itself. The temple's the landmark status building. The sanctuary on Riverside. Like I said, there is zero tax base to the city currently, and whoever buys this is obviously going to put this property on the tax rolls, which again is another benefit to the city. I know that argument's been made at zoning by myself over the years, will increase the tax roll, but this goes from 0 to something. And again, the structure's there. Section 70-50 of the code for the planning board's objective for planning site review. I'm sure you're familiar with it, but I want to put it on the record. In consideration and acting upon site plans, the planning board shall take into consideration the public health, safety, welfare, the comfort and convenience of the public in general, and the residents of the immediate neighborhood in particular, and may prescribe appropriate conditions and safeguards as may be required in order that result or action to the maximum extent possible. So,
Mr. Apple, isn't that the section for site plan review?
yeah.
All right, this is for subdivision, so it's a different section, I'm sorry.
Yeah, again, but the public's health, welfare, safety, it's still in consideration. You know, you have the neighbors, nobody's going to be affected. Like I said, there is a structure there currently, and I believe it checks off all the boxes with that. I'm going to have the rabbi and the president of the temple speak to discuss the financial constraints. They can answer any questions specifically with regard to what they've done and the financial position they're in. But again, to simplify this, we're looking to break off a parcel which was previously separated in the past, up to 1977 or 78, to market it to save this temple financially. Any renovations will have to go for you, and we request your careful consideration of the overall impact to the neighborhood. I think the benefit outweighs the detriment in this case severely. Any questions?
Yeah, I'd just like to make, Kenny, I'm glad you laid it out the way you did, because when I was going through this last night, I was reading the comprehensive plan and stuff, and I was thinking of Park Avenue, where they're hoping to develop for the city and all that. And, you know, this did Riverside, you know, and they did the north side of Park Avenue, you know, they're hoping to develop that all the way to the Long Island Railroad to make it pedestrian friendly and all that. And I was questioning myself on, you know, why they separated after they had it from, you know, 1926 and 28, I believe, were the first two buildings, you know, so, you know, you kind of close that.
I appreciate that, and we met and we decided that Walnut was really the way to go with this. Obviously, they had originally planned to do all three, but, you know, for the concerns you just raised, we felt it was the putting our best foot forward to the planning board so that we can basically break off a structure that's there. I mean, you know, again, if I lived on Walnut Street, it's there, I'm looking at it. It's not like anything there's going to go that's going to be worse. So it's not going to impact any neighbors negatively. That was the key to this. You know, whereas if we did Park Avenue right away, I think that an argument could have been made the other way.
Mr. Apple, just with respect to some of the criteria that are in our code, and again, for clarity of the record, because there's a structure there, the premises currently have, well, adequate, but we don't know if it's adequate because it's not really being used, correct?
It's being used by like the dance
Okay,
studios.
so it does have sewage, drainage,
Yes.
water. It's not like we have to open up any roads that, you know, in order to have access to
No.
water mains or.
I mean, I can go through those, Counselor, if you want. It's, you know, it's the
It's just a little bit different from the criteria from like zoning, you know?
The traffic access doesn't change. Interior circulation, parking, same thing. Landscaping's not going to change. Development comprehensive plan. Natural features won't change, cultural features won't change, pavement's going to stay the same, lighting's going to stay the same, facades, hopefully it'll be aesthetically improved. Drainage, same, public utilities, there is public utilities, public access, the sidewalks are going to stay the way they are. I'm assuming anybody who renovates this is going to be definitely more energy conservative, and the architecture, it's only going to improve, obviously, if somebody spends money to put something there or renovate what's there now. So it checks all the boxes with regard to the necessary elements to have this approved.
Are the other two parcels eventually going to be sold and
Well, no,
redeveloped?
No, the plan really is to sell this and save the temple.
Okay,
And then
that's
they
what
wanna
that's
bring in-
kind of what I was
They
getting
want to
at.
bring in a young vibrant rabbi, they want to do the wedding hall, they want to upgrade the facility on Park Avenue. Obviously, they have their services on Riverside.
Yeah.
That's not going to change, and then the plan is to upgrade Park Avenue so that they could, utilize it to their benefit.
So they need the money to get the temple back up
They absolutely need the
on
money
its
to get
feet.
the temple. I mean,
Got it.
they're going out of pocket for the insurance. They, like, you'll see the revenues and expenses, and they have an SBA loan they have to pay, and they haven't renovated the basements from Sandy. They definitely are in a hardship to save this temple. And they really have explored every opportunity. They've gone, they thought about merging with the other temples, but they're the only one of that like. It's, so they just, it's not possible.
Yeah, thanks, Ken.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
We're going to have the president and the rabbi speak for the temple.
Good evening, Rabbi. Just name and address for the record, please.
I'm not the rabbi, but.
Oh, no, Mr. Rappel said I'm going to have and Rabbi. I thought you were both. I'm so sorry. Rabbi, I apologize. I think I'm going to leave now out of embarrassment.
I think the rabbi is an easier job than the president.
Hey, listen,
But,
look on the bright side. At least this isn't like on YouTube right now or anything. No, I know it is. I'm just kidding, Ms. Lynch. Please continue.
My name is Neil Peisner. I live at 441 West Penn Street. I grew up in Long Beach. I started in the West End as a summer resident in 1967 with my parents. We ultimately stayed in Long Beach year-round. I enrolled in the 4th grade, attended West School in 1970, and graduated from Long Beach High School in 1979. With my wife of 33 years, we raised our 3 kids here in Long Beach, and they all graduated from Long Beach High School as well. So, again, lifelong member here in Long Beach, and have strong ties to the city. I became a member of Temple Israel in 2007, which was approximately 18 years ago. I was nominated to the Board of Trustees in 2012. 2 years after, in 2014, I became co-president and ultimately president. So this year is going to mark my 12th, my 12th year as president of the Temple. So I've seen a lot in the last 12 years. There's been a lot of changes in the city of Long Beach, a lot of changes in the demographics, and particularly with the Temple, declining membership, increased operational costs. And again, this isn't very different from what other houses of worship are experiencing. This is going on all over. It's not unique to the city of Long Beach. But, here in Long Beach, we have a lot of competition with our houses of worship. And on top of that, dealing with Hurricane Sandy, and the COVID virus didn't help matters in the last 10 years. So dealing with many different things here at the Temple. But over those years, the Temple has reached out to other various temples in this community, as Mr. Apple mentioned. We've attempted to merge or consolidate, as the difficulties we face are similar to many of the other houses of worship in the area. I've been involved with numerous meetings over these years with Temple Emmanuel, South Shore Jewish Center, the Bach, the Chabad, as well as a new entity that had a vision for a Long Beach Jewish Community Center. After months and sometimes years of earnest discussions with these entities, a single unified vision could not be attained, and negotiations and discussions fell flat. So it's been quite a frustrating ride, but we've been attempting to go through this and work with other community houses of worship and trying to do our best. But at this point, we've kind of resigned to endure independently, trying to keep our expenses low, trying to attract new members, and at the same time trying to be relevant in the Jewish community and the city of Long Beach. We've had some good fortune and generous donations and some timely borrowing of funds to keep us afloat. And because of that, Temple Israel was able to mark its 100th year anniversary last year. A historic marker was placed on Riverside Boulevard to commemorate this milestone. And if anybody saw it, there was an article in the Long Island Herald which featured the Temple, and it was a very nice write-up giving you a little extra history about the synagogue. If you haven't read it or want a copy, I'd be glad to give it out to the board members. So the challenges we face
they're getting harder and harder every year to overcome. The main obstacle for improving and enhancing our operation as a nonprofit house of worship can be blamed on the ever-increasing operating costs, primarily insurance. Secondly, utility costs, and then maintenance costs on our 100-year-old structures. The immense size of our structures, with the lack of proportionally increasing membership to support our carrying costs, is destined to eventually fail. Our buildings are now severely underutilized and without a robust membership and congregation. What may have succeeded 50 years ago does not work in today's climate. So working with limited funds, it's very hard to run programs and attract new members. We have kept our membership fees reasonable for many, many years, and there's no amount of new dues-paying members that could ever cover the $50,000 annual increase in our insurance costs since 2022. Our current insurance expense is hovering around 6 figures. As mentioned, the administration and executive board have explored numerous options over the past 10 years to come up with a plan to preserve Temple Israel. The last thing we want is to close up our operation, sell to a developer, and have the entire complex bulldozed, like some other synagogues in Long Beach and throughout our region have chosen as their fate. Closing the temple or selling the temple property for development was never considered a viable option and was always considered a last resort. After much internal deliberations, we felt partitioning or subdividing the Temple Israel property along the existing tax lot lines could facilitate a sale of only a small portion of our facility. Doing this would allow us to retain and maintain our historic sanctuary, which seemed like the best option and a win-win for all, including the city of Long Beach. This plan should give Temple Israel some much-needed financial stability and benefits, including reducing some overhead and carrying costs, attending to sorely needed repairs and neglected maintenance, establishing a proactive outreach program, organizing, presenting, and promoting community events, and just being able to run a more streamlined, efficient operation. You know, this is our idea of scaling down. You know, when people retire, they want to downsize. We're at that point. We're excited that this plan to subdivide and potentially sell a portion of our underutilized complex can sustain Temple Israel for the immediate future and possibly put us on a good footing to thrive for another 100 years, or at least another generation or two. If we're unable to accomplish the subdivision, there's a good chance the city of Long Beach will lose this 100-year-old institution. And in my opinion, it's going to be devastating loss for Temple Israel and for the city of Long Beach and for the entire Jewish community. So we hope you consider this matter seriously, and I appreciate your time and hearing this. And if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer the best I can. If you want to listen to some comments from Rabbi at Temple Israel, we'll do that first, and then again, any questions you might have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think it's all been said. So I'll keep this short and sweet because Ken and Neil's presentation was spot on. My name's Rabbi Elliot Fetterman. In addition to being a rabbi at Temple Israel, I'm the executive director. My responsibilities include running day-to-day operations, receivables, and payables. Over the last 2 years, Temple Israel's financial position has been precarious. In order to make ends meet, depending upon the balance in the Temple Israel's bank account, I've had to be very selective in which payments could be made to vendors. In addition, insurance needed to be drastically downsized to the extent that the fire insurance policies on the properties needed to be canceled. In order to mitigate financial difficulties over the years, as Neil mentioned, Temple Israel tried to merge with other synagogues. For numerous reasons, these attempts failed to come to fruition. The bottom line is, as the only conservative synagogue in Long Beach, the void which Temple Israel presently fills is in jeopardy. The sale of the Walnut Street property will set in motion plans not only to expand our membership, allowing Temple Israel to continue to serve the Long Beach Jewish community, but committees will be formed to introduce new, exciting programs and events which will be relevant to the community as a whole. But such plans can only come to fruition with the funds coming from the sale of the Walnut Street building, which requires the planning board's approval of the subdivision. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Does anyone from the board have any additional questions? Anyone from the public like to speak for?
I just want to get information.
Anyone from the public like to speak against? Or
What was the first part? For or against?
the first question was, anyone from the public like to speak for?
For.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any neutral opinion?
I would like to get some information about this.
I guess.
You have to come up to the microphone and give your name and address.
That was the next thing. We were going to set his name on again.
Thank you. My name is Michael Cohn. I live at 48 East Walnut Street, right across the street. I was born and grew up in Long Beach. My family has lived in that house for over 61 years. And parenthetically, I was a member and briefly on the board there. So I certainly have no ill regard or ill will to the synagogue, but I do have a few questions. First is, under the proposal, how many parcels will front on Walnut Street?
We don't know that.
Well, if you're going to subdivide that building,
Mr. Apple, do you have an answer to that question?
On Walnut Street, it's a 100 by 100.
how many parcels do you intend to, how many parcels do you intend to create?
It's one parcel. We don't intend to do anything other than market it for resale. It's a 100 by 100 buildable parcel. It's one parcel.
Well, 100,
It's a 100 by
the
100.
Talmud Torah you're talking about,
Yeah.
that is considerably larger than any house on that block. That's about the size of 2.5 houses.
It's one parcel. To do anything else, I believe anybody in the future would have to get a subdivision. Am I correct, Councilman?
And that's a commercial space, no?
Yeah, and that was the other question, but I was going to get to. But I mean, this is considerably larger than any building or parcel or house on the street. So that's what I want to know.
I
whether it's
think
gonna be one.
the actual subdivision is taking that parcel away from the other two parcels. It's not subdividing that one parcel into little
Okay,
parcels.
so just separating that. All
Right, it's
And-
just separating that parcel away from the
all
other
right.
two.
And currently, since that's a school and not a residence, I don't know if there's a zoning that is appropriate to it, or whether that would be affected or changed.
So, I don't know if you heard when I was explaining on the last case, once the property is subdivided, right, and then, let's say it's sold, if they want to make any, if the new property owner, the buyer, wants to make any changes to that building, let's say they wanted to keep, if they want to keep the existing structure, right, any variances that it currently has, if any, they would have to come back to the zoning board to maintain. If they wanted to change it where they needed any additional variances, change the use, it's really, it's hypothetical at this point. We don't know what the builder would want to do, or the buyer, I should say, would want to do. So until we knew that, then we don't know what the next steps are. So at minimum, if they wanted to change the structure, it would have to, likely get variances. B, it might need a site plan review, which is another review by this board. And really depending upon the use, if the actual use was going to change, they might actually also need an environmental review or an environmental analysis. So at this point now, all that this board is determining at this point in time is whether or not to separate that one parcel of land from the main. As far as all the nuances of what might be done there, because we don't know yet, it's really all speculation.
And the separate parcel would be 100 by 100?
I believe that's what Mr. Apple said.
Well, that's the only, that's the only one you're doing.
It's a 100 by 100 piece of property.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
And I'm sure that, yeah, the temple is going to be very mindful who they sell to. It's going to be their neighbor, right? So I'm sure you don't.
I actually forgot to say that. I meant to say that we're gonna be neighbors with whomever is buying or developing that property. In addition, I did forget to put one thing on the record. The way this property is set up, you have Riverside, you have Walnut, you have a storefront on the corner, and then you have the commercial, the Park Avenue side, which is connected in the back. If for some reason this temple ever went out and those three properties as one property had to be sold, I couldn't fathom what would ever go there. It would have to be subdivided if the temple went out. It's just such an odd shape of the way the three parcels are put together. There would be no, if we went out of business, the neighbors would have to deal with three different subdivisions. There's no way anything could be put there as one property. It's just not, it's not reasonable. So if you think about how it's set up. So I just want to put that on the record.
Thank you. Any other questions from the public?
Steve Candon, sorry, Steve Candon, 10 West Beach Street. That's around the corner from this lot here on Walnut. My question is just technical again. So I'm understanding this, the corner on Park Avenue that has a storefront is not in question. That's owned by somebody else. The temple that's facing the entrance on Park Avenue goes straight back through to the East Walnut building, and so we're making that the request is three parcels. So one parcel's on Park Avenue, then there'll be two parcels on East Walnut, and one will have the temple that's on Riverside, and that's going to stay. So it's just selling the one left on East Walnut. Correct. And that's 100 by 100. Am I laid out right?
Correct.
Okay. And 100 by 100 is the same as my lot on 10 West Beach. So that's pretty much what's going on for the larger lots in that middle of town. So it's still one lot now for a house if a house is ever built there. It wouldn't be two houses unless it was then subdivided again.
That's correct.
Correct.
Exactly.
So that's my understanding. So and then this is just about the parcels being divided to three. Thank you so much.
Correct.
Clarification, if I may.
Come on up to the mic, please.
Currently on the block, all the houses and all the parcels are 40 by 100. So this would not be one parcel, it would be two parcels if they were going to build housing on there.
They would have to subdivide it again, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so they would have to come back here to
Right.
subdivide it.
Okay, would anyone from the board like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Anyone like to second?
I'll second it.
Is that Brian? Okay. Case number PB 1002, application of Congregation Temple Israel of 70 East Park Avenue, Long Beach, New York, for a subdivision into amended two parcels, correct, Kenny? You amended it to two parcels? Okay. The property located at 70 East Park Avenue, also known as 305 Riverside Boulevard and 75 East Walnut Street, Long Beach, New York, and also known as Section 59, Block 97, Lot 26. Board Member Gatto has issued a motion to approve, and Board Member Patton has seconded the motion. Board Member Gatto?
Approve.
Board Member Martinson? Board Member Martinson?
Yeah, approved.
Board Member Patton?
Approved.
Board Member Spada?
Approved.
Chairperson Clancy?
Approved.
This application has been approved as amended.
Would like to make a motion?
You have to close the
close?
meeting.
Would anyone like to make a motion to close the meeting?
I would like to make a motion to close the meeting.
Go second.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, voting. Board Member Gatto?
Close.
Board Member Martinson?
Close.
Board Member Patton?
Close.
Board Member Spada?
Closed.
Chairperson Clancy?
Close.
The meeting is closed at 8:20. 2020.
Thank you. Good
Thank
luck.
you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone.
Oh, let me turn the camera.
So I don't like being yelled at. If anybody was curious.